Welcome to the Media News on Voice of the People TV. I am Fina Okechukwu. The headlines. The HQ absolves CDS of blaming victims of Benue killings. Northwest Governor's military chief meets on regional security. IGP exonerate officers of aiding abating election malpractices. One person dies as police fall kidnap attempt in Kogi. Brazilian vice president arrives in Nigeria for strategic dialogue. 10 feared dead in Oyo Road crash. And businessman warns of job losses over Lagos plastic ban. In sports, Super Falcons Portugal sets 0-4-0-0 draw. And in the world of entertainment, Peter Doce warns against making AI-generated videos of him. Now the news in details. The Defense Headquarters has clarified that the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, never blamed the victims of the recent Benue killings as being represented in sections of the media. The Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Tokoro Gusau, who made this known today in a statement that was made available to newsmen in Abuja, said that the CDS instead highlighted the complexity of conflict zones and the need for communities to be vigilant and cooperative with security agencies. This clarification comes after some media reports misrepresented General Musa's comment, suggesting that he blames the victims for the attacks. Brigadier General Gusau emphasized that the CDS remarks were aimed at encouraging communities to work with security agencies to prevent such attacks and promote peace and stability in the region, saying that it was regrettable that advocacy groups would twist the narrative and attempt to politicize an issue as sensitive as national security. He said the CDS had continued to work tirelessly to ensure the safety of citizens, promote civil-military cooperation, and uphold the values of professionalism, compassion, and integrity in military operations. Moving on, the chairman of the Northwest Governors Forum in Kaduna and Governor of Katsina State, Dikko Reda, has led a powerful entourage of regional leaders to a closed-down meeting with Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja. This meeting focused on strategies to strengthen coordinated security operations across the Northwest, a region ravaged by incessant attacks by bandits and increased kidnapping, particularly in parts of Katsina. Governor Rada was accompanied by Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal, Deputy Governor of Sokoto State Idris Gobir, and Secretary to the Kebbi State Government Yakubu Bala. The meeting took place following a recent successful military engagement in the Northwest, where several bandit hideouts have been destroyed and key kingpins neutralized by Nigerian troops. This report says that the Tiv and Fulani communities and Gasol Local Government Council of Taraba State have signed a peace accord to end the recurring clashes between the two ethnic groups. The exercise was facilitated by the leadership of the 6th Brigade Section 3 Operation Worsening, led by Brigadier General Kinsley Chidebere Owa. Speaking at the meeting held at the 6th Brigade Headquarters, a conference room in Jalingo, Brigadier General Owa said the move was part of the brigade's ongoing non-kinetic peace initiative. The intervention followed rising tensions and unresolved disputes between the Tiv and Fulani communities and the local government. While condemning the recurrence of communal violence in the area, the commandant cautioned against individuals or groups taking the law into their hands. He emphasized the rule of law and urged participants to serve as ambassadors of peace and development, noting that meaningful progress can only be achieved through unity and respect. In another development, Inspector General of Police Kayode Boitokun has strongly denied allegations that the police encourage election manipulation in the country. Speaking at the 3rd National Democracy Stakeholder Summit in Abuja, IGP Boitokun described the allegation as unfair and baseless, adding that the police would continue to remain impartial during elections. Represented by the Commissioner of Police for the Federal Capital Territory, Adewale Ajaodun, the IGP added that the police would not, under any circumstances, deviate from their primary roles of maintaining law and order during the electoral process, emphasizing that The police neither count votes nor officiate as umpires. IGP Ebetoko revealed that its officers are undergoing continuous training to keep them aligned with democratic standards and now operate with renewed inter-agency synergy, including with INEC, civil society organizations, and the media. Elsewhere, the police command in Kogi State has confirmed the death of one passenger in a foiled attempt to kidnap passengers along the Obajana-Oshokoshoko Road in the state. The command spokesperson SP Williams Oviaya said in a statement today that the feat was part of a series of operations carried out in the command. He further stated that the command is in a separate incident arrested 2 suspects in Ayingba for possession of firearms and recovered several exhibits on June 21. Oviaya quoted the Commissioner of Police Mila Dantawaye as reassuring citizens of the command's commitment to ensuring the safety of lives and property in the state. Still in the news, the Vice President of Brazil, Geraldo Alckmin, and his wife, Maria Alckmin, have arrived in Nigeria for the commencement of the second session of the Nigeria-Brazil Strategic Dialogue Mechanism. On arrival at the presidential wing of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, the delegation was received by Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Hadija, and Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole. Other government officials that received the delegation are the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Meiha, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, among others. The 3-day summit will culminate in the signing of over 30 memoranda of understanding across critical sectors. The sectors include defense cooperation, agricultural technology transfer, energy collaboration, and cultural exchange programs. On a sad note, over 10 people have reportedly been feared dead in an accident that occurred this morning on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in Oyo State. The road mishap involved 3 taxi cabs and 3 articulated vehicles. The affected vehicles were coming from the Iwo Road access before getting involved in the accident. More report on the story will come from Voice of the People Television. Still in Oyo State, a late-night fire has destroyed property worth millions of naira at many provision shops in Oyo town. The incident happened near a petrol station in Faraday area, causing panic among residents who fear the flames might spread to nearby buildings and fuel the station. The chairman of the Oyo State Fire Service, Maruf Akinwode, confirmed the incident in a statement, noting that fire was promptly reported to the agency and emergency response teams were immediately dispatched to the location. He further explained that preliminary investigation revealed the fire was caused by a refrigerator that has been left plugged in and unattended overnight, which overheated and sparked the blaze. Akinwode added no lives were lost and no injuries were reported, stressing that the incident serves as a reminder of the danger of leaving electrical appliances on overnight, especially in areas close to flammable materials or fuel sources. Away from Oyo stories, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has released a list of new universities candidates of the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination can apply for admission. JAMB explained that the new universities were established after the 2024 UTME registration. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishak Oloyede, in a statement, advised UTME candidates to make use of the change of institution service at any CBT center to change to the new universities if they so wished. You're watching the Media News and Voice of the People television, and it's time for the news analysis. And joining us this afternoon to help analyze the stories you've listened to thus far on our bulletin is Barrister Darlington Agomo, who is VOP TV in-house political analyst. Good afternoon, Barrister Darlington.
Yeah, Fina, how are you?
I'm good, and you, how do you do?
I'm okay.
Good to have you join today's Media News.
My pleasure.
Interestingly, we have, maybe like say rebuttal or refutal from the CDS, from headquarters, defense headquarters, also over the statement made by the Chief of Armed Staff, the General himself, General Christopher Musa, when Nigerians were faulting or blaming him for the statement, which, according to defense headquarters, were not really made by him, talking about who should we blame for the happenings, especially the killings, the carnage that's happened in Benue State. Here, some persons were saying that that General Christopher Musa blamed the people of Benue State for the carnage that happened in their community that caused the loss of 200 lives. But from what we're getting today, we learned that the media should be blamed for such, saying that they pushed whatever narrative they have for the people to believe, not what the general said regarding the killings that happened in Benue State. Barrister, what do you have to say about this particular story?
Yeah, Fina, it's unfortunate that up till now we are still trading blames for a matter other countries that are serious have resolved. The idea that the Benue people provided shelter, provided food and women for the terrorists is, in fact, is the height of insult. This particular army chief is looking for somebody to blame for his incompetence because he has forgotten that Tinubu sent him there to go and take care of things. And under his watch, this massacre happened. Instead of him to take the blame or even resign, he has started blaming Benue people that they did this. So if actually women were provided for them, how did they not leave the women to go and fight? They should be enjoying themselves now with the women.
Well, Barrister, from what Brigadier General Tukur Gusau said today, say that highlighting the complexity of the conflict, especially what transpired in Benue, it should be what Nigerians should be looking at, and not trying to put out of proportion the words of the CDS himself. Now, Barrister, how then do you expect, because we've learned also that no credible information was given or intel was given to the security men that we have on ground in Benue State as regards where these people are coming from and where they are going to. Even it got to a point where some persons will say that the people that gave them the information misled them. They took them to a different location, whereas the attackers got into Yelawata through a different route entirely. Now, isn't this more like a way or the people aiding the happenings in the state? Remember also that the authority also pointed out to the fact that some politicians, some political elements in the state are fueling this whole insecurity in that state for their own personal gains.
I completely disagree that the Benue people misled them. They took them to a different direction. What kind of talk is that? What type of discussion is that? So this is the first time those people have struck Benue. All this while that they are hitting Benue, what did the military do? They are just looking for excuses here and there, and that's what I do not understand. So they want to blame Benue people for their incompetence.
But Barrister Darlington, we need local intelligence for us to navigate all this. The people who are, the military men that are being sent to, this particular locality in Benue State, they don't even know the terrain. They don't even understand the terrain. So don't you think that maybe the tip-off from, the locals could have actually helped them to prevent that carnage?
95% of the time, the police and the military were informed they will not do anything until these people have carried out their mayhem and left. Benue people have come to talk about it in our platform here. How they call the military who are not far away from where these things are happening, and they will turn deaf ear, saying that they have not gotten order from above. I mean, you are there to make sure that there is security of the people and their property. And under your watch, these people have hit Benue severally, and you are telling me you don't have intel on them. Did they fly through the air? Did they pass through the road? And you have a checkpoint along this road. So what happened? It should not even make that kind of noise because I see it as noise.
Now, Barrister, what do you have to
You know,
say
they are
about the fact
rebelling
that we
people.
still have the presence of, the military in Benue? Remember that we have from our COA saying, I'm moving down, relocating to Benue State to make sure I put an end to all these killings happening in the state. And then IGP Ebitokun also made Nigerians understand that special task force team has also been sent to that state. We learned that Hyacinth Alia, the governor of the state, according to what we were told, made provision for logistics and every other thing for the sleek or the easy or seamless movement of security personnel in the state for them to be able to navigate all that they need to do. But we learned yesterday, on Sunday, that a full bus was attacked. And all the passengers in that particular bus were being moved, kidnapped by armed terrorist group.
So this one you said now, was it the fault of Benue people?
Is it that the military personnel are we seeing an overwhelmed, overstretched military in Nigeria? What is really happening?
None of those. The thing is that they don't want this thing to end so that the money they are getting from this insecurity will not stop.
Isn't it an indictment on its own that we have the Chief of Army Staff moving over to Benue State, and under his nose, under his watch, with the sophisticated weapons that I believe the military personnel are carrying or bearing at this point in time, some non-state actors can act without any of them being arrested?
Yes. That will tell you that these people, they don't want this thing to end. Because if the thing now ends, where would they be getting this money they are getting now? We are not fighting insecurity here. We are fighting corruption. It's as simple as that. The government is not willing to end this because we have given so many intel. Okay, if you say that the Benue people did not give you intelligence report, please, the 400 names they gave you people since how many years ago, that are sponsoring this terrorism, what have you done with it? Have any army chief asked for that list? No. Please, they should stop blaming Benue people.
There was this line of thought, where some Nigerians of the opinion that the issue of insecurity is no longer a national something, that is now an international thing, whereby powers that be, kind of feel on this whole insecurity because of their benefits. And do you think that Nigerian government at this point in time are a bit, maybe will I say, overwhelmed, or are we seeing a government that hands are tied over fighting back, especially the international bodies that are supporting or fueling insecurity in Nigeria?
If we are serious, nobody can threaten Nigeria, either within or outside.
Why do you say so?
Because as a government, you have the capacity. It is after God, you now have government. It is only government that have the coercive capacity to rein in anybody or any group.
Do you think that Africa as a continent has what it takes? I'm talking about the military might, the armament, and every other thing for them to withstand, other foreign entities if they're trying to invade their territory at this point in time. Because if you check out, you find out that more like all African countries where we have rich mineral resources are having one issue of insurgents or terrorist attack or another up until today, Barrister.
The smaller countries in Africa can take care of things, not to talk of a big nation like Nigeria. So if they are being overwhelmed, they want to be overwhelmed. Not that these rascals are too big or too many for the Nigerian military. They just don't want to do the needful. It's as simple as that. Nobody can threaten a government and the government just keep quiet, except that government doesn't want to do anything.
All right, Barrister, people are preferring solution to end of insecurity in Nigeria, end of conflict, especially between farmer and herders. And then, some states, in Katsina State, there was a peace accord that was signed. A notorious terrorist made Nigerians understand that you don't call us terrorists. If you keep on calling us terrorists, you keep on terrorizing you and all that. Even to the point that the government also have decided to choose a non-kinetic way also to help make sure that, the issue of insecurity is a thing of the past in Nigeria. But today, we learned that the Tiv and Fulani communities in Taraba State will be made to sign a peace whereby both people will be able to live in peace without anybody attacking anybody, without maybe Fulanis attacking the farmers or farmers, without anyone having a clash. Now, do you think that this is more like a good approach to us ending this issue of insecurity at all?
Look, they are scratching this matter on the surface. They are just, you and I know very well that these people will not be appeased until they get what they are looking for.
Why do you say so? What are they looking for, Barrister?
Because everything has been done to placate them, yet they refuse to listen. Is it not to graze their cattle? Is that not the issue here? Have them been offered land all over the northern region? They refuse to accept it. Rather, they want to take other people's land, rename it and claim it. And that's what they want. So every other thing you are talking or saying or doing, I don't think it will sync with them. Okay. Because they have a purpose. They want to take the land. They want to take the land, not minding that people are living there.
So you think the whole quest is about land grabbing at this point?
Of course. Not even one land, the whole of Nigeria.
But how possible do you think that will ever be?
Isn't
that more like chasing a white goose? Because I don't think it's going to be possible.
Well, Fina, they have done it somewhere and succeeded though.
Where in particular?
Some African states today were originally Christian community. They were originally Christian states until they came and forced them to accept it.
But looking at the peculiarity of Nigeria as a nation, even the British, when they come into the nation to colonize, they couldn't even impose a particular system of government because of the diversified nature of the people inhabiting here, because of the dynamic nature of Nigerians. Now, if we're to say that they've done it before, we know that Islam comes from the East. So why is it that, it's encroachment in Nigeria that Easterners are not really practicing that religion, but rather they are just living their life?
Because we resisted them.
And you think such attempt or such resistance will not come again at this point?
It's already ongoing.
The resistance to come again?
It's already ongoing. It's left for the people of Nigeria to agree or refuse. All these things that go, is it not resistance? All these things that people are pushing back and all that is resistance. And they too, because they are being backed by some powers that be, they have continued with their onslaught. If it is on one-on-one basis, maybe the other parties have their own gun. My dear, they will not try it. Yeah, they will not. They would have settled for what they were offered. They were offered the land to go and do their business. They refused. So, what do you think is going on then? You are looking for something. Say you want to pray to do your business. Somebody says, "Oh yeah, come and take this land and do whatever." You say no. You say no, except to go to other people's land and kill them and take over their land by force.
Away from that particular story about insecurity and all that, let's look at election malpractice. Barrister, here we have a new development where the Inspector General of Police, Kaide Bretoko, come up to deny in strong terms allegations that the police are encouraging election malpractice in Nigeria. Barrister, you're a Nigerian. What do you have to say about this?
Of course, as usual, he is lying. This IDP is lying and he knows it. At least we witnessed what happened here during the last election. Emso Oluomo, while he was destroying ballot boxes at Oshodi, 2 policemen were behind him as his orderly. As his orderly. And when we asked them why, he said that Emso Oluomo is joking. Is that not what they told us? Meanwhile, you saw what he was doing, you saw it as a police officer. And several other places. As long as they are working for APC, the police will look the other side and pretend as if they didn't see what happened.
But Barrister, from what IGP said, police are not the ones in charge of INEC as our electoral empire, as the case may be. They are not the one in charge of INEC. They don't even do election. They don't count votes. Neither do they officiate the happenings in INEC. So how then are we going to blame them for electoral malpractices in Nigeria?
I will blame them. They were taken there to bring peace. But under their watch, some political talks belonging to APC were doing whatever they like. Because they are for the ruling party and therefore they can do whatever they like. These IGP should stop lying.
Some persons have argued, Barrister, that we don't even need the presence of the police or military during our election.
Let us assume.
So,
yes.
Do you also align with that line of thought that we don't need them? We don't need the
under APC, if you allow If you say that it will be worse. Imagine with police and army, things are like this. Imagine with police and army, things are like this. Not to talk of when there is none at all. What do you think will happen? They will take over the job of INEC officials. In fact, MC Oluoma will mobilize his own boy. They will take care of Oshodi.
Barrister, take it back to Rivers State when the suspended governor of that state conducted a local government election. Barrister, the police or the security personnel were not present.
Good, because
but funny enough, the people come out, they were able to cast their vote, and also even though a court nullified that election at this point in time. But do you still think, with the example I just said now, that we still need the presence of the police or the security personnel, during our elections?
In a normal climate, we don't need them. But Nigeria is not a normal climate. That's why everything about us is violence, force, brigandage. That's why most times we bring in security agencies to take care of these bad boys. But unfortunately, under their watch, the bad boys become bolder. They have been threatening police and, snubbing them, and nobody will arrest anybody.
How possible would that be? Because according to what the IGP said that police can never deviate from their primary roles of maintaining law and order during election and other, processes. So when you say they are threatening the police, how will it be? Because they are there to maintain law and order. So how can someone who has been, saddled with the responsibility of law and order maintenance now be a victim of threats?
During the election, the police will work with the ruling party. That is as simple as that. During election, the Nigerian police and Nigerian military, they work with the ruling government, the ruling party. They work with them. We have seen it clearly. Nobody can deny this. We saw what they did in Rivers State in 2019 when Amechi mobilized the military. When they were not even supposed to contest election there. All the mayhem they committed with Amechi, who sent them message? We have seen police guiding talks while they are destroying ballot boxes and all that, because they are not winning in that particular polling unit. So please, the IGP should spare us all these summons. We are not interested.
Barrister, let's look at bilateral relationships where we have the diplomatic engagement between the Brazilian vice president and our own country, Nigeria. And this particular relationship, according to what we were told, or the information being made available, shows that we have over 30 memoranda to be signed, between Nigeria and the Brazilian government. And, looking at the whole thing, the whole scenario, it boils down to what Nigerians actually needed, especially in the sectors that is a bit vital for us: the defense, cooperation, the agricultural technology sector, and even energy collaboration, including cultural exchange programs. Now, what do you have to say about this particular, information, this engagement that we're having? It's going to be a 3-day summit,
It's a waste of time. Because even if the Brazilian government decide to keep their own part of the bargain, Nigeria will not keep their own. Because politics and tribalism will not allow them to keep to their own. So why do you wait? Is this the first time they are signing MOU and all that? What came out of it? Nothing will come out of it. They just want to show that they are doing something. Meanwhile, they are not. It's a waste of time and resources.
So you're saying that the fact that the vice president of Brazil, Geraldo Alckmin, and his wife, Maria Alckmin, are in Nigeria today for a 3-day summit is not going to yield any good fruit it's not going to be fruitful to Nigeria.
It will not, because we have seen it in the past now.
Why do you say so, Barrister Darling? Because look at the people that were sent to, even, persons, the delegates that were sent to welcome them. We have the Deputy Chief of Chief of Staff to the President. We also have the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. Among them also is our own Professor Tahiru Jega, Abubakar Kyari also. Abubakar Kyari was there also, I beg your pardon, not Jega, I want to say. And we have Idi Maina. And these are men that are manning, the sectors that we really need this collaboration or this relationship with the Brazilian world with. So you're saying that your presence there and every other thing that you're going to deliberate on for 3 days is more like a waste of time.
It is, because there's insecurity in Nigeria. FINA, it is a waste of time because there is insecurity in Nigeria. How will you implement it?
So you don't think with their defense cooperation that they're bringing to the table that will be able to push back these terrorists or insurgent groups that have been killing Nigerians thus far?
I said it's on paper. In reality, nothing will happen. Forget it.
Nigerians have been clamoring and calling for, maybe international collaboration for us to be able to end the issue of insecurity in Nigeria and also for us to improve in every other sector that we think we're lagging behind. So when we have such, you think it's not going to yield anything?
Where is the experience of Brazil for this kind of business? But
the last time we checked, Barrister Darlington, they are not having shortage of food in their place, and they're having power supply, steady one altogether.
So, and you think they will bring it to your country, under insecurity? That means most Nigerians not even understand the enormity of what we are facing.
If Brazil is not that viable, like you're pointing out, then how come they hold the world? They have a summit, Barrister Darlington.
So because they are doing it, therefore you think you can do it too?
Can we say the same of Nigeria at this point in time? So isn't that more like a good way for us to learn from them, if possible, emulate the good works that they are doing in their country to make sure that our own actually will come up better?
Fina, a government that wants to work doesn't need all these summits. They don't need it. Tinubu have traveled all over the world. All the travels he has made, what did he get from it? Did he bring anything home? Fina, a president in Argentina, the same axis with Brazil, he came into office under 1 year, he balanced their budget after 135 years of independence. Please, did that man call a summit before he did what he did in Argentina? Tell me, the president of Argentina, did he organize any summit for somebody to tell him how to balance their budget? Please, let's talk another thing. How many summits have you heard here? Or have you attended outside here? No, tell me, how many? The one we have attended, everywhere they call us, we'll go. What do you come back with? Nothing.
So, Barrister, what are we going to blame that on?
Is it?
What are we going to blame that
Your leadership, you don't have a government.
So how then do you think we're going to get it better if we keep...
Until we vote another government that will do the business of governance.
Barrister, check the people within the corridors of power in Nigeria. These are old politicians. These are old men who have been there for so long. Women who have been there for so long, occupying different positions. No. Check the National Assembly. There we have governors who have served out their 8-year term. They went there in more like a retirement home. Check the people within the corridors of power. Even in opposition party, Barrister Darlington. These are all politicians. So what new are they going to bring to the table that they don't, or we don't have, or we've not seen before?
These are old crooks. You know, when you have overstayed your welcome in a particular position, you become a liability to yourself and to the country. These are old crooks. The only thing they know is how to what? Embezzle money. Corruption is their middle name. Corruption.
So how do you think the new ones will come on board?
That's why change is a constant thing. We will continue to change them until we get the better persons. Nobody believed that Anambra will be peaceful until P2B came there. Before P2B came, the Oba brothers have taken that state hostage. True or false? That place was, in fact, at a point, they burned down everything in Okab. Burned the Oba brothers. Until P2B came. And the rest is history. So until we get the right people.
But the likes of Hakeem Ahmed Baba have come up to say that such coalition, nothing is going to come out of it, given the fact that the people who are talking about a change in government, possible coalition, and all that are old politicians, that we need new politicians. And you know that for the young ones to be able to get the purchasing of nomination or interest form actually is very, very high, to start with Barrister Darlington. So how then do you think the young ones will be able to come in fact, for them to be able to be recognized?
Let us continue to change them until we get it right.
How many have we changed?
I said, it's a constant thing, like I told you. If these people come up now and begin to misbehave, we'll change them.
All right,
we'll cry, yes, we'll continue until even the old one will get tired. Shame will not allow them to contest again.
Interestingly.
After Tinubu tenure, will you come up again? Will he come up and say he want to contest for Nigerian president? Will Tinubu ever try it again?
I think this is a good place for us to anchor today's
Will Buhari come up again and say he want to rule Nigeria again? So we'll continue to do away with all of them until the good one will now emerge.
We are being hopeful that the good work will emerge, or the good ones will emerge in Nigerian political space. And this is a place we're going to draw today's curtain on the media news analysis. We've been speaking with Barrister Darlington Agomo, who is a VOP TV in-house analyst. We'll go on a quick break and we'll come back. The rest of the news bulletin continues. Stay with us.
Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome back to the media news and Voice of the People television. Senator Victor Ome, representing Anambra Central in the National Assembly, has advised former Nigerian military head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, to stop distorting facts of history on issues that are well known to the general public. Ome was reacting to a recent media appearance by General Gowon, where he spoke on a Buri Peace Accord signed just before unfortunate Nigeria civil war. Correspondent Nduo Malese has a detailed report on this information.
May not be capable of recalling all that transpired nearly 60 years ago, and as such, should not speak on them if he is no longer sure of the facts. According to Senator Ume, Gowon's media chat, in which he shifted the blame for lack of implementation of the Aburi Accord to the then military governor of the old eastern region, Colonel Emeka Ojukwu, was like reopening the wounds of the unfortunate civil war.
Because doing these things will aggravate our wound. We want to bury the wounds of the past. So let him stop speaking. If he doesn't want to say the truth, let him go and write his own book, so that when he's no more, his book will be circulated and he will be judged.
Thank you.
Ojukwu is not alive to join issues with him. When Ojukwu was alive, he was talking. Gowon refused to talk. And now that he's talking, it's very unfortunate. T.Y. Danjuma is still alive. He was the one that led the Agri and there's unfortunate assassination. So I don't know what TY will be thinking after hearing Gowon that he wasn't part of the coup, that he didn't know anything about what happened in Nigeria and suddenly saw himself as head of state of Nigeria.
On the legislation for creation of development commissions across the 6 geopolitical zones, the senator said it is the cascading of the development agenda down to the grassroots. He said Nigeria is too vast to be attended to just from the center. Hence, the development commissions to take care of the peculiar needs of each zone.
I will first of all say that we in the National Assembly are very happy that we've been able to create 6 development commissions for Nigeria. What this seeks to achieve is for the zones to begin to come together. When you continue to talk about Nigeria as one entity, the space becomes too large for coordination. But through these development commissions, the 6 development commissions will be able to harness efforts and potentials of each zone and drive development processes in the various zones. So the Southeast Development Commission, which has been fought for severally in the past, unsuccessfully succeeded, because we passed it in the previous assembly. Buhari did not assent to it, and we passed it again, and President Tinubu now assented to it. The call is for the governors of the Southeast states to see the Southeast as a unit of development through the Southeast Development Commission, and for them to begin to work together. The opportunity they have now is that they put their resources together. This idea of everybody being on his own. We have 5 states, no doubt. Others have 6 states. The Northwest has 7 states. With the funds coming in through this platform, it will be better for them to put their resources together and embark on bigger projects, not small projects, and they can begin to have uniform development strategies.
Ndu Akpaleze, Voice of the People Television.
Thank you so much, Ndo Baleze, for that wonderful coverage. Away from that report, the People's Democratic Party has concluded its primary elections for the 2026 Federal Capital Territory Area Council Chairmanship election, with candidates emerging across all the 6 councils. The Electoral Committee Chairman, Chris Hassan, who announced the results, said that the elections which held in the councils were free and fair. Hassan added that it is the desire of the party that all aspirants and candidates work towards the success of the election scheduled for 2026. In the south part of the country, the Edo State government has announced the cancellation of its monthly environmental sanitation exercise, which was earlier scheduled for Saturday, June 28, 2025. The secretary to the state government, Musa Ekilo, who made this known in a statement, attributed the cancellation to the nationwide polio immunization campaign, which is set to take place on the same day. The government explained that the cancellation is to ensure that health workers and residents participating in the immunization campaign are not restricted by the sanitation movement restrictions usually enforced during the exercise. Authorities emphasized that this move is part of effort to support the successful implementation of the National Health Program across the state. Meanwhile, residents have been encouraged to maintain a clean and healthy environment despite the cancellation of the official sanitation day. As Nigeria joins other countries across the world to mark this year's International Widows' Day, VOP TV brings you a report on the significance of the day.
In Africa and some parts of Asia, women whose husbands have died can face stigma, suspicion, and families determined to take away what little they have left. In some parts of Nigeria particularly, stories abound of widows being forced to drink the water used to wash their husband's corpse, in the belief that it will kill them if they are guilty of causing his death, or of being made to declare their innocence before a local deity. The stigma or outright rejection of a woman who has lost her husband often leaves her abandoned. Such stigmatizing practices have been outlawed in Nigeria since 2015 under the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law and are subject to a 500,000 naira fine or 2 years in prison. But so far, only about 23 out of Nigeria's 36 states have formally adopted these laws into their own statutes, and cultural practices continue regardless. Against this backdrop, International Widows' Day is observed every year on the 23rd of June, the world over. The date was established by the United Nations in 2010 to address the issues affecting widows globally and to draw attention to their unique challenges. As the world celebrates International Widows' Day 2025 with the theme, Empower Her from Loss to Leadership, it is hoped that widows find the respite they deserve and long for.
Moving over to the business segment of the media news, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria has expressed concerns over the impending ban on single-use plastic by the Lagos State Ministry of Environment. It warned that it could lead to job losses and lead to economic, operational, and social consequences for manufacturers, traders, recyclers, and end users. MAN Director General Shegun Ajayi Kadiru, in a statement, called on the Lagos State government to reconsider the ban, citing a lack of credible data and stakeholder engagement. Ajayi Kadiru disclosed in a statement that a recent study revealed that 100% of manufacturers surveyed expressed fear of job losses and workforce restructuring if the ban is implemented. He emphasized that banning SUPs would not resolve pollution issues, but merely substitute one problem for another, urging the government to focus on improving waste management infrastructure and promoting recycling rather than imposing a ban. Moving over to sports segment of the media news, Nigeria Super Falcons held Portugal to a 0-0 draw in an international friendly match. The game, which was played in Amadora, Portugal, was part of preparation for the Super Falcons ahead of this year's Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco. This is the second time the two teams will clash, with their first meeting also a friendly encounter in 2021, which ended 3-3. In entertainment, Peter Doce has broken his silence about AI-made videos of him advertising medical products. The veteran actor, who expressed his displeasure in a social media post, warned people against abusing the grace he carries. Peter Doce is a legendary Nigerian actor widely regarded as one of the founding fathers of Nollywood. Born on March 7, 1947 in Enugu State, Edochie rose to fame in the 1980s after starring as Okonkwo in the acclaimed television adaptation of Chinua Achebe's classic novel, Things Fall Apart. Also in entertainment, English singer and singer Jessie J says that she has undergone surgery for breast cancer and is now resting at home while awaiting her result. In a social media post, the 37-year-old star thanked her doctor, surgeon, and all the nurses who took care of her, sharing a series of photos and videos of her time in hospital. The singer revealed her early breast cancer diagnosis at the beginning of June and received widespread support from fellow colleagues for sharing her experience. That is it on the media news, but before we go, another look at the headlines. The defense headquarters absolved CDS of blaming victims of Benue killings. Northwest Governor's military chief meet on regional security. IGP exonerate officers of aiding, abating election malpractices. One person dies as police fall kidnap attempt in Kogi. Brazilian vice president arrives in Nigeria for strategic dialogue. 10 feared died in Oyo Road crash. And Business Authority and Manufacturers Association of Nigeria warns of job losses over Lagos plastic ban. And sports, Super Falcons in Portugal settle for 0-0 draw. In entertainment, Peter Doce warns against making AI-generated videos of him. And this is the news that was aligned and edited by Azuka Omuzo for Voice of the People Television. Do also subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Up next on the radar is a Spotlight show with Onyi Damola Olokutan. I am Fina Okechukwu. Good afternoon.